So, what a great forum. I want to say thank you to all of you for being such great participants and making it such an active exchange that we've had over the course of the last 2 days. I also want to take this opportunity to give a big thanks to the audio-visual team. They've done a fantastic job there. For everyone that's been registered at the UN official reception, please do pick up your pass if you haven't already done so outside the door. No pass, no entry. So it is the United Nations, security is tight, so you do need your registration pass. So please pick it up on the way out if you've not done so already. It's a wonderful event. If you've never been to the UN, even if you have, it's still a wonderful event. And we'll be doing an evening of award ceremonies and cocktails, and got some special words for the UN Deputy Secretary General, Amina Mohammed. So it will be starting at 6 o'clock-ish. So please get down there. As I mentioned, you do have to go through security. It does take a little bit of time. So I'd encourage you to get over there. In terms of getting over there, you have choice of transportation. You can walk. It is, I can testify, about a 40-minute walk. If it's not raining, it should be quite pleasant because it has the air's cleared a bit. Take advantage of it if you live in New York. If you want to take public transportation, go to the 66th or 59th Street stations, which are just over there. Get the one downtown to 42nd Street or Times Square, and then get the 7 across to Grand Central Station. So you do need to make one change, and then it's a short walk from Grand Central. So that's it from me. Thank you so much. I will now hand it over to Mette to do our very esteemed leader of Prime to do her final comments.
Thank you,
Mette.
Thank you. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you to you, John. Thank you so very, very much for, taking us through the most, I just want to say, the most amazing master of ceremony. You have done a fantastic job for us. You managed to lead us through the whole program of strategies, principles, frameworks, visions, pedagogies, plus coffee and restrooms in a very elegant way. I enjoyed every moment of this. I really found myself out there, and I wanted to be back here on time because I wanted not to miss out on any privilege or any benefit you were going to give us, if we were here on time. So thank you so very, very much. It was just fabulous. So please help me give John another good hand. And then I also, before I just briefly sort of recap some of my sort of key takeaways from the past days, I just want to say that, and John, you can confirm that because you're also on the Prime board. As you know, I'll be resigning from Prime, from my job here as head of Prime on 31st of August, but I'm not fired by the board. So I apparently have not made it clear where I'm going. I'm going to start on 1st of September. I will be a professor at Oxford University, and I will also be directing the Oxford Smith School of Enterprise and the Environment. So I do have a job, and I'm looking forward to that also, even though it's with an open heart and a difficult decision for me to make. That decision to leave, at least leave the job as head of Prime, not leaving Prime, as you will know. So, of course, the first thing I will do is to sign up Oxford to this fabulous initiative. So that's it. But let me just recap, what we've been through very, very briefly over these past days. And it's actually 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Talked about I5, the Leadership Education Project. We talked about the champions of Prime. We've had PIR on the stage, and we've also had a board meeting, full board meeting on Monday. And then we've had the 2 days where we focused on climate change, the digital challenges and opportunities, leadership and pedagogies in the space of responsible management education. We've had plenaries, we've had panels, we've had keynotes, breakouts, workshops, a lot of coffee networking and drinks networking out there. We've had launches of the new principles, a light launch, and we've had launch of PIR. We've had a song. We actually had 2 songs, and we've also had a poem. I think we've managed to be through a lot of debates as well during these 2 days. And some of you have also been invited into the Prime interview studio, where we have made films, just 10-minute films of some of you. And what we're going to do is a little film, a little Prime film afterwards with some of your experiences, some of your testimonials that we will be proud, to of course use on our own website, but also for any of you to use for whatever purpose you may find that helpful. And then I wanted to say also, we've actually also had 2 spontaneous side events. So on Thursday last week, Andrew Jack called me and said, hey, can we do something? You've got all these fabulous people in town. Can we do something? We talk about metrics and sustainability on Monday morning. And then we got a group together of you, 10 people in the room. We had a great discussion with Andrew. So that was today. Actually, we had another spontaneous side event, and that was the chapters. So suddenly we had 6 chapter chairs, 12 chapters represented, and 25 steering committee members of our chapters around the world having lunch together today. And there was also another sort of spontaneous side event. And it is my hope that we will have next year a lot of these spontaneous side events that don't have to be in the program, but when you come here to New York, to the Global Forum, all these fabulous people will be here. So take advantage of that, and please ask us to help you, or them, to help you organize these side events, because I really think that is easy to do, and it's a wonderful addition of why we come here, because we come here to meet each other and discuss. I can also inform you that we have what was the number here? It is about 800 people who have registered online. So thank you to you out there who are still hanging on. And we've had 315 people in the room here. So this is amazing that you have managed to come here from all around the world. And I'll just repeat what John already said. 74 countries are represented here over the days. And it's approximately 50-50 female and male participation. And also on this stage here, I'm so happy again this year, like last year and the year before, 50-50 gender balance. There are other balances we can work with, and I can be, tell you a lot about that, but at least we got the gender right this year again. So thank you very much also for all of you agreeing to be here. I just wanted to briefly just come up with, so the Prime roadmap. What are we here about? And we are about a lot of things, but this is sort of the roadmap, and many of you will have seen that roadmap before. What is it we are about? And we are about curriculum change, skill set development, practical relevance, and global impact. And I've just been listening to the conversations on stage, off stage, and in the breakouts during the past days here. And I think it's fair to say that we have touched upon exactly these 4 dimensions in a lot of the debates that have been going on here. And I just want to say a few of the things that I particularly noted, and that's about the curriculum change. I think we talked a lot about, apart from that, of course, the champions have talked a lot about the curriculum change and the blueprint that they have delivered and worked on for a long period of time. But there's been a lot of talk about what does success mean for in the curriculum, and how do we engage our student in that curriculum. And I think that there's been a lot of talk about that we should make sure that we focus a lot on our students and let them help themselves with us to define what does success mean. What is a successful business? What is a successful business leader? And in particular, I like the example from Brazil and the example from Australia. The example from Brazil about taking the students into the Amazonas, talking to people living alongside the river, and just get a feeling of what is success in these communities. What does it take to create a community in these places? And let the students define what that success and what that leadership takes. And that's the same with the case from Australia. Focus on Indigenous people, First Nation people, and discussing what does success mean for these people, and then let the students themselves articulate and think about what is a successful community, what does it look like, and what does that take from me or require from me as a leader in such successful communities. 2, skill set. I think we had a lot of talk about pedagogies, and I really enjoyed the new kind of language that I think it's fair to say I didn't hear so articulate just 5 years ago. Something has happened, and a lot of things have happened, but that focus on student agency and how do we create something we cannot give students, we cannot give them agency, but we can create a context where they learn that student agency. And there's been another kind, somebody said, I think it was this morning, that there is a kind of a warfare language in a lot of our curriculum and in a lot of way that we sort of engage about competition and take on the market share, hostile takeovers, conquer the different markets, etc. But the kind of language that is introduced here over the past days has a lot to do with connectivity, peer learning, experiential learning, listening, feedback, collaboration, co-creation, and a focus on learning, not teaching, but a focus on learning a lot. And what does that look like? And also words that I heard. I was invited to the SEMS community, 34 deans coming together every year from around the world. And they also mentioned so it's not just us in this room, but there are also other associations and out there talking about empathy, compassion, and courage. These again is a new language that is introduced to business schools that I think it's fair to say we didn't hear that loudly, that articulated just 5 years ago. Even some of these business schools I know of has empathy as one of 5 core values for the business school. So it's a new language, and as you know, language matters, and language is action. So it's very important how we frame what we do and what we want to do. Thirdly, relevance. I think that the focus on system thinking has been permeating the whole discussion here, and systems thinking has a lot of different phases. And the discussion that has been provided here on systems thinking, rather than thinking fragmented, thinking disciplinary, thinking interdisciplinary, and thinking connectivity, I think has been really, really influential. We will see, but at least inspirational for all of us. Finally, impact. And that impact is something that I think we have focused a lot upon over the past 3 years. And we know that our friends in the engineering sciences, our friends in the natural sciences, they're really, really good at telling themselves and the rest of the world the kind of impact that they have to better the world. I think we in the social sciences and we in business schools still have room for improvement for creating that collective, individual and collectively, that kind of narrative for the kind of impact we have upon society. And we are trying to do that from a collective perspective with the review, as you will know, of the SIP report, because I think we will have immensely beautiful, wonderful data that we can collect and show at country level, at regional level, and even at the world. What is it that we actually do? What kind of impact do we have on the world and on those 70 million students we educate every year? So I think that one thing that another discussion on the impact that I think is something that I would love Prime to take on also is the redefinition of the role of the professor. And I've heard many of you engage in that conversation, the need for recognition of the professor, not just the professor as a researcher, but also the professor as an excellent educator. And here, this is also something you, Andy, was urging the other day in your speech, and this is something we've been working on, for example, with ASCSB. Nick, I don't know where you are, but we've been talking a lot about that with ASCSB, and they've also started in discussion about what is the role or roles of the professor rather than professing. For example, what I'm doing now, pacifying you totally, like I've been doing with my students for 20 years. But this is over now. We need to think of that professorial role and that kind of excellence that we bring into the classroom in terms of what you've been discussing over the past 2 days here, in terms of the new pedagogical skills that are needed. But I think this is something we should also keep on discussing. How do we engage the ecosystem an ecosystem here. I mean, the accreditations, the rankings, etc., in helping us recognize, how do we recognize excellent education in the classroom, so we can also award that and put that into our systems when we promote our colleagues in our schools. So finally, we're only halfway. It's Wednesday, and we are all in a moment walking over, or however we are transporting ourselves over to the UN building. But it's only Wednesday, and we are actually halfway, because we had this dream 1 year ago that we would love to have the Global Forum, not just as a 1.5 or a 2-day event, but we would actually like, when all of you are taking your time off, to fly all the way to New York from wherever you come, that we have something more to offer you. That's one thing. The other thing is, we are on a journey, but we are not alone, and we cannot do this alone. So we have invited a lot of our friends along, a lot of our partners along, to help us develop these 5 days. So I'm very proud, very, very happy to say to you that we will have, and as you will know, on tomorrow we will have a full day with Network for Business and Sustainability by Jury, Jason, Abby, Maya will take a lead on guiding us through the day, focusing on that systems change that has been permeating our discussions here. How do we do that? It's going to be a real workshop style. So I'll be there, and I'll be really looking forward to engaging in that day with Sustainability Center directors and all of us who are interested. And more than 100 people have signed up for that day. So I think it's going to be really, really wonderful. Friday, we'll have the Humanistic Leadership Academy, where we have about 80 people signed up, and we have a full day of discussion about what does that mean and how can we advance humanistic leadership in our educations in order to influence our businesses at the end of the day. So a strong focus on leadership and leadership skills, where Michael Pearson will take a lead on that. On that same Friday, we will also be hosting a full day, 9 till 5, and that is Wharton, who gave us a telephone call and said, "Hey, Prime, can we do something together on the ESGs?" 40 people will come to the Kofi Annan boardroom in our offices and discuss with us for a full day. Could we do something across schools, not just in schools, but actually across schools in terms of research and, of course, strong focus on education together and in a kind of a new program. So that's also very exciting. So a lot of exciting stuff is going on. So enjoy our UN gathering here in a moment, but please go home and sleep well, because we need your energy for the next 2 days as well. Finally, I just want to say thank you so much again to our fantastic sponsors, our partners. We really appreciate all your help and all your engagement, support for this, making this 1 week here come true. And of course, thank you again to best ever fabulous Prime team. You have really, really done it. Yes. And then of course, the team is very, so we went out for a Prime team dinner evening last night. And then suddenly my birthday was celebrated. I have absolutely no birthday. I don't need another birthday, by the way. But so we had a little celebration last night, and it's just like these kind of surprises that you make all the time in the middle of a very, very busy week. You can also do that. Thank you, team. You are fantastic. I want to say a special thank you to you, Silvia Rodriguez, who has, believe it or not, been out of Portugal for the past 8 months, designing, orchestrating, facilitating this conference. I think that's quite some achievement, Silvia. So thank you so much. You can do that across the waters. That's fabulous. And then, of course, finally, thank you to you, deans, professors, students, business folks, civil society, NGOs, all of you. Thank you so very, very much for coming here, for joining us, for being so actively engaging in the discussions and taking our agenda forward. And I'm very, very, very happy and very thrilled, and it's very energizing to be part of this community. So thank you so very much to you. Thank you.